All right, let's talk about something that gets overlooked way too often in the rush to the cloud: operational readiness. We're going to go way beyond just the lift and shift checklist. We're going to talk about what it actually takes to pull off a migration that's not just done, but done right, stable, seamless, and basically invisible to your users.
So picture this. It's Friday afternoon. The change freeze is on. Months, maybe even years of work are all coming down to this weekend. You look around at your team, and the big question isn't just, hey, are all the servers configured? It's something much, much deeper. Are you truly ready for what comes after you flip the switch?
And that really gets to the heart of what we're talking about today. Success isn't just a checkbox that says done. A truly great migration is one your users barely even notice. It's all about the stability of your services and making sure the impact on the people who rely on your product is zero, or, even better than before.
So, how do we get there? Well, our countdown starts 4 weeks out from go live. And listen, this isn't the time for last-minute code changes. Nope. This is all about building the human side of the equation, the processes, the documentation, basically the playbook that's going to guide you through any storm. This is your what-if playbook.
Here's something that trips a lot of teams up. We obsess over technical resilience, right? We build failovers that can switch in seconds. But you know what? If a database fails over in 30 seconds, but it takes your team 30 minutes to figure out what happened and who to call, you've still got a major outage on your hands. The goal here is to turn that potential chaos into a totally predictable, documented process. And the absolute cornerstone of that process is the runbook. Seriously, think of it like a pilot's pre-flight checklist. When some critical alarm goes off at 2 in the morning, you don't want your on-call engineer trying to remember some complex command they learned 6 months ago. No way. You want them following a clear, step-by-step guide that guarantees a fast, consistent, and most importantly, safe resolution.
So, how do you build a good one? It's really just 4 key steps. First, you identify the alerts that really matter for your most important services. Step 2, document the exact step-by-step actions to fix the problem. Step 3, who do you call when you're stuck? That's your escalation path. It has to be crystal clear. And finally, and this is crucial, what's the escape hatch? Your rollback procedure needs to be just as documented and practiced as the fix itself.
Okay, fast forward, we're now 2 weeks out, and the focus totally shifts. Our playbooks are written. Now it's time to move from planning on paper to seeing things in real time. It's time to set up mission control.
The guiding principle for this phase is super simple. You absolutely cannot fix what you cannot see. During a migration, ambiguity is your worst enemy. What you're trying to do here is create a single source of truth. Think of it like a war room dashboard that gives everyone, from the engineers on the ground to the execs watching from the sidelines, a clear, instant picture of system health.
And this requires a pretty big mindset shift. We have to move away from legacy monitoring, which is all about watching CPU on individual servers. In the cloud, it's a different ballgame. We have to be proactive and, honestly, obsessed with the end-user experience. Is login taking too long? Are people abandoning their shopping carts? Those are the metrics that really tell you if you're succeeding, and they need to be front and center.
But look, mission control isn't just a pretty dashboard on a big screen. It's a whole system. Of course, you need the centralized, real-time dashboards, but you also need a clearly defined on-call rotation so everyone knows who's accountable. You need a documented process for managing incidents, and you need automated alerts that are tuned to those key business metrics we just talked about.
All right, here we go. It's the final week. You can feel the tension in the air. We've got our playbooks, we've got our dashboards. Now it's time to put it all to the test. It's time for a full dress rehearsal.
This might be the single most important rule in this whole explainer. You have to build that muscle memory. Your team has to practice running the plays, watching the dashboards, and talking to each other before the pressure is real. This rehearsal is what builds the confidence and the coordination you're going to need when it's go time.
A real dress rehearsal has to feel like the real thing. I mean, you actually fail over to your disaster recovery site. You throw a ton of simulated traffic at your systems to see what bends or breaks. You practice the full rollback plan just to make sure that safety net is real. And then, on Sunday, you do a full post-mortem to figure out what went wrong and update those runbooks.
And remember this, if your dress rehearsal goes perfectly, you probably didn't test hard enough. A successful rehearsal is one where things break. You find bugs, you find gaps in your runbooks, you find out your communication plan is confusing. The whole point is to find all those flaws now, in a safe place, before they ever have a chance to impact your users.
And here we are, T0. This is it, the moment of truth. All the planning, all the preparation, all the practice, it has all led to this very moment. Let's walk through that final go-live countdown.
This is your key takeaway, the architect's cutover checklist. And just look at it. Notice how it's a mix of tech tasks and communications tasks. Before you do anything, you're finalizing communications and freezing changes. During the event, it's all about calm execution, step by step, while everyone keeps their eyes on mission control. And afterwards, it's all about validation and, just as importantly, opening up the channels to hear what your users are saying.
You see, if you've done all the hard work in the weeks leading up to this, if you built the playbooks, set up the dashboards, and ran the rehearsals, then this moment isn't about chaos and panic. It's about calm, quiet, disciplined execution of a plan you already know works. All that preparation is what earns you a smooth, boring migration weekend. And boring is exactly what you want.
So we'll leave you with this final thought. Moving your servers, that's just the first step. The real migration, the one that matters, is when your culture moves to the cloud. When this kind of planning, this practice of embracing failure, this focus on user impact, when that becomes second nature, that's the real win. So the question is, what does that next step look like for you?